Hey guys, this is John, and I'm playing Hood in the 15-minute pool on ICC. Sorry for the absence in the 15-minute category. I've been sick for the last, about a week, and just been getting back in the swing of things. Also adjusting my mic here, sorry. But yeah, I haven't been able to record much in the past few days. But everything is back to normal, and I'm happy to be playing a Grunfeld, white side of a Grunfeld, against Hood. I'm going to check his stats real quick. Peak rating of 2032, plenty of standard games. I'm going to take on d5, and I think I'll probably play e4. Playing around with the idea of bishop d2, but I like e4 a bit better. So let's go with this. We'll play a mainline Grunfeld. We'll see how he treats it. I'll go knight f3. This is a system I've been kind of just playing around with lately. Plays c5, that's the main move. And I think I'm going to go bishop e3 now. Yeah, I'll do bishop e3. This is just one possible move. Knight c6. I think I'm supposed to play rook c1 against that. So I will do that. Rook c1 is played just because you don't want to keep the rook on the same diagonal as the bishop for too long in this system. Plays queen c7, that's interesting. I think I'm going to keep my bishop back on e2 rather than develop it to like c4, where it might arguably be more aggressive. Do I want to play d5 right now? Playing d5 now would be interesting because if we insert the moves, let's say bishop e2, castle, if I go d5 thereafter, he could play rook d8 and pin me. So kind of thinking d5 might be an interesting try at this juncture. But all the same, I think I'm gonna play bishop e2 and proceed as normal. I don't feel any particular urgency about the situation, so that's what we'll do. Yeah, now he's trying to make use of this pin that I mentioned. I could play d5 now. It's probably one of the best moves. Queen b3 maybe in order to break the pin, but I think I like d5. Let's do that. I'm also threatening his c5 pawn by playing that move, so he plays knight e5. Wonder if knight d2 makes sense. Not a usual decision here, knight d2, but that would threaten f4. Could be interesting. I could also just take and then play f4 myself, build up a really nice center. That would be a real straightforward way of playing the position. He's played quite fast so far, although I don't think this is a particular line that he's played before. Probably he's played this general setup before, but maybe not this exact move order. Because usually the bishop's on c4 in these positions, and he's gaining a tempo by hitting that bishop. So the fact that it's back on e2, I think, should play in my favor. Wonder if I go knight d2 if he can play c4 and try to cramp me a little bit. I think trading would be just all around the more natural move. Trading on e5, that is. That said, knight d2 still strikes me as pretty interesting. It's a very appealing move. You know, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try it. Just because I think it might get him to slow down. And I like the purpose behind it. His position's a little bit cramped, so I don't want to make it easier for him by exchanging so easily. If he plays c4, I'm thinking I'll just go bishop d4 in preparation for f4 to kick the knight away, and I hope that the c4 pawn becomes weak. There's probably other moves too. I mean, the immediate f4 might also deserve attention. Yeah, so I think this is a promising position. He could play f5. f5 would be interesting. Idea of f5 would be to give the f7 square to his knight. But now my f4 move is certainly on the agenda, and I think he realizes it. This is a unique position. Hope everyone has had a good weekend. I haven't really done much in the way of tournaments lately since this tournament I played a couple weekends ago, the Minnesota Open. But this is a great time for chess right now. There's a lot of big tournaments going on, especially at the Super GM level. Yeah, if I were him, I think I would play c4 or maybe f5. It's possible he could just allow f4 and then retreat the knight to d7, but I get such a massive space advantage if he does that. I can play e5 and hopefully just start cramping his position. So overall, this seems like a very promising situation for me. Plays b6. So he's being rather nonchalant about the f4 move, which, will probably be played because my whole setup is geared towards this move, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time thinking about it. Yeah, so that was expected. And now, do I want to go c4 or do I want to play e5 immediately? Don't know that it matters a whole heck of a lot. Maybe, well, if I play c4, he might have e5. Maybe he can strike back with that move. So it's possible that e5 is just stronger in this context. Just make sure he can't take on e5 or otherwise mess me up somehow. e5, if he takes with the knight, I take. He takes with the queen. That must be unsound. Yeah, I'm just going to go for it. e5. And if he goes bishop b7, I'll be looking to push my pawn to c4 and connect all my pawns together. Yeah, so knight f8. I think he's headed for a pretty passive position out of this. Let's just go c4 as planned. I'm expecting bishop b7. He does have this undermining move e6 available, but if I can always meet that with d6 at the very least, I think he'll have a lot to deal with in the long term if I have a protected passed d-pawn. He needs to undermine my center, probably sooner rather than later too. So some combination of like f6 or e6 or maybe even b5 if he can organize it. Hard to see how he'll pull that off without it being weakening though. Maybe f6 is interesting right now. If f6, I'll have a nice choice between taking or pushing. Or maybe even something like d6, something more dynamic. Part of me wonders if my last move, c4, was even necessary, because rook takes d5 wasn't exactly threatened when I have bishop f3. But it seems almost like a mandatory move anyways. He could sack the exchange or something if allowed to take on d5. Yep, so he just plays flexible, bishop b7. So moves I'm considering right now are bishop f3, knight e4, maybe a4, although I don't think it's necessary to play that right now. Probably bishop f3 is the direction I'm leaning. I think I like that the best. Knight e4 also looks very strong. Huh. I'm going to play bishop f3. It just feels like the more secure move, and any d6 threat that I have will be strengthened because of this move. I'll be hitting his bishop on b7. Very tough to free himself. Plays e6. Yeah, so this is the scenario I was referring to. I could play d6 if I want now. And I probably should. I don't want to take, because taking would allow his knight to come to e6. So I want to keep this knight out of play. So d6 seems indicated. d6, let's say, well, if bishop takes f3, I can take on c7, actually. So that's not good. Yeah, this move must be strong, so I'm not going to think about it too much more. Now maybe knight e4. Maybe I don't even trade the light square bishops with him. Maybe I make him suffer. Yeah, actually, knight e4 is like almost total paralysis. It's kind of a brutal move. Knight e4 with potentially ideas later of attacking him on f6. It stands to reason that the stakes are higher for him if he remains more cramped with more pieces on the board. So yeah, let's go knight e4. I'm expecting rook c8. I bet he'll play that move just to reinforce c5 because I don't think he wants to give me possibilities of attacking c5 in the future. I have a lot of directions I can go with this now, though. This is nice because the one thing I'm considering now is like queen e1 to h4, trying to go knight f6 check. If I could win that dark square bishop or otherwise destroy that dark square bishop, then the f6 square is just so juicy. Okay, he makes this trade. I didn't think he was going to do this. It's a pretty passive decision. Rook b8. Well, I could play queen f3, threatening bishop c6, but that allows queen a4. It's kind of transparent. So I might go queen b3 instead. Yeah, let's go queen b3. Just thinking how much respect I want to give to the f6 threat. So that is something I should think about, actually. Yeah, actually, I should be more concerned about f6 because that's the only way he can get out of the bind in the foreseeable future. So maybe bishop f2. Idea of f6, bishop h4. He could sack an exchange, though. I take d8, he takes the rook, I take e5, he takes the bishop. That might not be so bad for him. I could go queen b3, f6, queen b2. That looks pretty good. Using my queen to defend. What about bishop d2, f6, bishop c3? I don't know. I do know that he's going to have to reorganize. Bishop d2 is awfully fancy. Might be a good move, though. Really might. Okay, I'm going to play bishop d2. This is a weird-looking move, but I really like the point of this move. I think I need more reliable protection on e5. So it's definitely a weird-looking move, but my bishop probably just belongs on c3. I'll let him go b5 if he wants. That's fine by me. I think that move does more harm than good for him. Seems to me. I gotta speed up a little bit. I'm taking perhaps a bit too much time. I feel like the situation might clarify a bit in the next few moves as to the tension in the center, whether or not I'm able to stop him from breaking with f6, or whether he'll go for b5. I think he's going to have to make a decision within the next move or two about how to play it. Now, I'm not convinced bishop d2 was the best move, but I had spent so much time at that point, I just got to go with it. So all I have on the agenda is just playing bishop c3 and trying to suppress his counterplay for now. And then I'll look at ways to open the position. Like a4, a5 is one way I can try to do it in the long run. Maybe a kingside break is possible. That is a pretty radical move. It's interesting, though. So he's trying to undermine my pawn chain and probably go knight g6 is his ulterior motive. f5. He gets g6 for his knight, too. I have a hard time believing that this move is good, though. What if I just play queen f3 now? Queen f3 threatening bishop c6. It's a tough one for him to face. Yeah, let's go queen f3. I do leave open a4. But my thinking is, if he plays queen a4, maybe I'll take on g5 then, because I'll be threatening f7. Do not think he wants that. Plays knight g6, but yeah, I just have bishop c6 now, right? Bishop g6, knight h4, queen e4, f5. Yeah, it's no good for him. Is this move just winning? Oh no, wow, he can go to c8, duh. I totally didn't see he had queen c8 until now. It's kind of funny. Okay, time to reassess. Well, I could just take on g6 and then take g5. It's not exactly what I'm looking for, though, right? Maybe just g3 now. Yeah, let's go g3, keep everything together. Keep his knight out of h4, too. Restrict. I don't know why I was thinking all along that bishop c6 was winning his queen when it's clearly not. You know, c8. Probably try to tuck my king away next. King h1. And I definitely still like my position. But the time factor could make things interesting down the stretch. Wonder if he can take on f4, and when I take with the g-pawn, then play knight h4, and try to settle the knight on f5, even if it means double isolating his pawns. Wow, that's a pretty radical move. So I can play bishop c6, or I can just take en passant. Take en passant, he takes with his bishop, and then take on g5. I mean, I would think that position is very dangerous for him. He's doing anything he can to undermine my structure. So bishop c6, queen c8 on the other hand. Position remains more closed. Yeah, I'm just going to open it up. I figure with the two bishops, like opening the position can't be a bad move. Yeah, let's take here now. Open it further.
Check.
King h1 probably indicated. Taking on d6 is just bad for him now, because I have queen f7 and then take on g6. His position's somewhat collapsing. Actually, maybe that's not so clear. Because if queen takes d6, queen f7, check, king over, bishop takes g6, He can throw in queen c6 somewhere. That might save him. Nevertheless, I think I'll have a good position after queen takes d6. I mean, even a move like queen h5 should be strong there. Thinking maybe I should have gone to g2 with my king, just so I had the ability to play king h3. A simple solution might be, this might be a moot point, but queen h5 now. What about just queen d3? Yeah, queen d3 is probably stronger. Attack the knight this way. Because if I had gone queen h5, he had queen takes d6. And again, that same trick. Like if bishop takes c6, there was queen c6 check. So this way, if queen takes d6, bishop takes g6, if he checks, I can just drop my bishop back to e4. Yeah, this looks much better. Thinking here, he might even just play queen g7, which I am perfectly fine with. Get away from my d-pawn. Queen g7, I'll probably swap rooks. Rook takes f8, rook takes f8, rook f1. That's what I'm thinking about doing. Maybe just play to win that endgame. Knight e5 instead. Okay. Taking on h7 doesn't look like it works. Let's just play queen back. He can take on d6 now, but bishop f4. It's awkward. Do I have anything with bishop takes h7? Probably not. Queen h5. Queen h5, he has knight h6. Or knight g6, rather. Let's go bishop f4. He's got to get out of this pit ASAP. Because if not, I can like move my light square bishop away and he'll be in like a mortal pin here. If queen e7, I could just win a pawn outright, like bishop takes e5, bishop takes e5, bishop takes h7 check, followed by queen takes e5. That looks very good. I can also just drop my light square bishop back and try to win his rook on b8. I'll probably do that because that looks more clear-cut to me. I think that just costs him material. Rook f7. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Maybe g6? No, not g6. Let's go bishop back here. And I'm just going to try to attack his e5 knight, basically. I think he'll be barely able to move soon. At least I hope. Ooh, well, retreating my bishop this way does allow him to go rook f5. I have to keep in mind. Just go here. Forgot about that aspect of this bishop retreat. Playing bishop b1 instead of bishop g2 a couple moves ago would have kept an eye on the f5 square. Maybe it's not so bad, though. If he ever goes rook f5, I can just bully him backwards with bishop here.
Draw?
I'm not taking a draw. Maybe king g2? Yeah, let's go king g2. He's still kind of pinned down. I mean, he can play queen e7 now and get out of this pin, though. Then I have that tactic I was referring to earlier. Huh. Yeah, he should play queen e7 or something like that. The tactic I was referring to earlier was bishop takes e5, bishop takes e5, bishop takes h7. You know what I might do if he moves his queen, though, is just play h4. Yeah, I think I like that. Just h4. Support my g5 pawn, start marching. Even if I don't win anything in this position, I think my setup is so powerful as it is. I don't have a whole lot to be concerned about. Yeah, queen d7, maybe he's coming into a4 is his idea. Let's just go h4 as planned. I like this, connecting these pawns together. Also gives h3 to my king. It's a nice square for it to land on. Knight g6. Well, that move could just allow me to win a pawn. So I think I will do that. Yeah, I'll just go win this pawn. And I believe with my majority on the king side, it should be nearly decisive. Okay, let's just double. You can take on f4 and sack, but I am not concerned about that. He can't really activate his majority so easily. One plan I have is just to play rook c6 and then rook e to c6 if I'm able. Let's maybe bring the king up just a little bit. Bring it up to g4. Looks pretty nice on that square. Might assist me in playing h5 later. Also takes the sting out of any rook takes f4 move. So I like it. Yeah, and he's trying to defend that way. Let's go here. We'll take the 8th rank as long as he's giving it to us. Maybe invade here. There's like some mating net ideas now. So if I play h5 and he takes, and I take with my king. Yeah, there's mating net plans. I'll do that.
Check.
Just because I don't think it's so easy for him to escape this. How's he going to deal with rook h6? If he goes rook f7, I have g6.
Check.
That's mate next move. Bishop h6 mate.
Checkmate.
Okay, so we got the win. Yeah, I think my bishop pair plus space advantage was the big factor in that one. Fortunately, I don't have a ton of time to analyze this right now, but I'm going to just quickly go to some of the key points. I'm a little skeptical of this setup and this whole idea with queen c7, rook d8, knight e5 when the bishop is not on c4, because usually they're gaining a tempo, as I said, by attacking that piece on c4. So knight d2 is pretty interesting. I mean, knight takes e5, bishop takes e5, f4 also definitely comes to mind. I think that just could lead to a similar position with a space advantage. But that said, I'm happy about knight d2. Let's just see what the engine thinks about it. Yeah, it says it's pretty good. Already, it almost puts him in like a critical position. The computer's suggesting f5 or c4. I think I mentioned those moves. But gives an advantage to me in either case. Because now he just gets pushed back. It's very, very cramped for him. Yeah, I think I have an edge. I was debating whether to take on b7 or knight e4 first. I think knight e4 first is good. This move surprised me, but actually it might not be so bad. This is the only move taking on e4 that enables him to go for the f6 move. Yeah, and here I played bishop d2 in order to go to c3 to reinforce e5. Just not sure that was the best call. Queen f3. What if he just goes f6? Bishop c6, queen c8, take on f6. Yeah, it's possible at some point I might need to like break my nice structure and just capture. Bishop takes, rook cd1, and even here, even though this pawn is no longer a protected pass pawn, the engine still very much prefers white. So bishop d2, not completely happy about that move. I completely blanked on the fact that he has c8. Not happy about that either. Yeah, so I ended up taking... I think I like taking en passant better than playing bishop c6. I know the computer disagrees. This just seems like the way to go.
Check.
Gets such a nice position. Queen d3, knight e5. Yeah, stable advantage for white. Bishop f4. Likes bishop g2. Bishop back here. Okay, so at no point did I ever really lose control of this position. Yeah, I'm going to go take this pawn. Alright, so a deeper analysis of this is probably necessary, but you get the general idea that he's suffering from the moment he allows that pawn to get to d6.
Check.
Yeah, and at no point did it ever look like
Checkmate.
White's advantage was in doubt. So, yeah, I think that variation has to be rethought by Black, would be my advice to him. I don't think queen c7 is that good at this juncture. So I think castles or queen a5 is also played a lot. So, alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. And now that my voice is 100%, I'll be back tomorrow with my entire trifecta of videos, Bullet Blitz Standard. So stay tuned, and hope everyone has a good week. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.